Y'all are going to jail. Period.
Good morning. The committee will come to order. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess of the committee at any time. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. The Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, or EIDL, have been essential lifelines for millions of small businesses harmed by the coronavirus pandemic. More than $1 trillion has been dispersed by these programs, with good reason given the scale of the crisis. With so many tax dollars expended, it is vital that we ensure that the money is used for its intended purposes and not diverted to fraud. Unfortunately, the Trump administration failed to take basic steps to prevent fraud when it implemented these programs last year. Thanks to the work of this committee and our oversight partners, we now know that this failure led to nearly $84 billion in potential fraud, including $79 billion in potentially fraudulent EIDL loans and grants, and $4.6 billion in PPP loans. That means billions in taxpayer dollars may not have reached the small businesses that most urgently needed support. Last October, the SBA Inspector General found that the Trump administration lowered, I'm quoting him here, lowered the guardrails by removing or weakening controls in the EIDL program. Specifically, the administration ignored flags of potential fraud, approved loans in batches with low to no vetting, and abandoned a rule that required 2 SBA employees to approve each loan.
Eric, LaDonna Wiggins, we have yet to hear from her. This business here behind me off Pierce and Baldwin is apparently that of hers. They have since turned off the lights when they saw our cameras. But we're also waiting to hear from her lawyer who's in New York. Still nothing from either of them. Again, what those court documents allege are pretty jaw-dropping. Looking for LaDonna Wiggins? My name's Myra with ABC 13. Tuesday afternoon, we went to a home in Cyprus that court documents state 37-year-old LaDonna Wiggins purchased using money she received from the CARES Act. The document says Wiggins received about $3.7 million after submitting 2 PPP loan applications for businesses known as Wiggins and Grams Enterprises, LLC, and Pink Lady Line. The document states she used the funds to make lavish personal purchases, this home allegedly being one of them. Hi, looking for LaDonna Wiggins?
She's not here.
She's not here? When someone finally came to the door, I asked this woman about the allegations that Wiggins supposedly purchased 2 homes using federal funds meant for business use. This house and apparently a house for her mom. Is that you?
No.
You're not her mother?
No.
The court documents go on to mention just how much money she spent and on what. Here's just a few listed in detail in these court documents. Over $78,000 on a 2020 Land Rover, over $25,000 at Saks Fifth Avenue, over $12,000 at Hermes, over $64,000 at Chanel, and at $204,000 for a business in Houston, nearly $700,000 for a home in Cyprus, and over $248,000 for a home in Katy. Is there a time that she will be coming home?
Actually, she hasn't called me today, so I'm not sure when she's coming back.
And how are you related to her?
That doesn't matter.
We never got a straight answer from the person who opened the door. We did see her moments later get in an SUV and leave. Wiggins has been charged with bank fraud, making a false statement to a bank, and money laundering. She faces up to 30 years in federal prison. Mayra Moreno, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Golden Oak community, right on a canal leading to the Magic Kingdom. The Justice Department alleges it was nearly bought with money stolen by a family running a fake ministry. You can see Mary Edwards, son Joshua, daughter Joy, and Mary's husband Evan Edwards on this photo on the back of a book he wrote on how to be happy and successful. State records indicate the family ran Aslan International Ministry from a now closed Orlando office. This complaint says the same family is head of Church of Florida, Inc., alleged to have fraudulently obtained Paycheck Protection Program money. In September, agents say they stopped the Edwards family on I-75 fleeing the state and uncovered $7.6 million in the family's Bank of America accounts and another $868,000 plus at First American Trust, a total of $8.4 million in CARES Act money. In December, believing it had enough evidence of fraud and money laundering, the government seized all of the fake ministry's assets. Sources also tell me the Edwards family is in Canada, where authorities there are also investigating.
We're still investigating, and we will bring them to justice.
Pedro Escandon is with the Secret Service. He won't say why the family wasn't arrested because the case is open. But since last April, agents across the country have recovered $343 million, money secured by people pretending to own charities or businesses needing financial help.
That's a lot of money, isn't it? It's a lot of money. Criminals are opportunists, and they'll try to gain their way into any system to try to defraud the government. I feel silly,
One of them is David Hines of South Florida. He pleaded guilty last week after securing nearly $4 million in PPP loans last summer, spending a big chunk of it on a Lamborghini sports car. And get this, with $78 million recovered in 11 Central Florida counties, 23% of all stolen money seized nationally, our region is a hotbed of fraud.
Obviously, there's going to be some abuse of it, but it makes us angry when we hear about it.
Angry because Nikhil Nandu's family is struggling just to keep their international drive business afloat.
We would like to keep all of our employees. So I'm first and foremost, that money goes to them, and I think it's really selfish that people do that.
In another local case, agents caught a person who bought an $80,000 Range Rover with money stolen from a fund to keep small businesses open. You may be surprised to learn many suspects have not been arrested.
Is the government doing enough? No.
Jeff Grant knows why. The former lawyer and now head of Progressive Prison Ministries scammed the government, claiming his office was destroyed on 9/11 and collecting $250,000. He says with so many people going online, applying, and lying, the U.S. is pushing out trillions, expecting fraud, and figuring they'll track down the crooks for years to come.
There'll be a lot of people prosecuted. There'll be a lot of people having to pay huge penalties, and a lot of people who will be, unfortunately, going to prison.
Greg Fox, West 2 News.
West 2 investigates attempted jail. You're going to jail.